Okay, we finished our second spread. Now there's one spread to go, and I have some other things to show you. So first thing we're going to do is take out the subhead, because again, I'm not sure where I'm going to put that. And then I'm going to grab all this copy, apply my style to that, apply my subhead style, and then I'm going to bring this text box down and try to decide where I want to put it. And again, I want to have copy over on this side, so I'm going to make a second text box over here. I'll make sure I'm not in that one first. I'll put a text box here. Again, I don't know really where I'm going to go with those two yet. And I click in the selection tool, I click on the plus. And when I click on it, if you do it right, you'll see all the copy loaded up in the cursor, and I'm going to click there. And you can see there's not very much. That's because I haven't moved this box down much yet. So it kind of flows into there. So I'm going to go on this one about to here. Now this column I want to be different because I'm going to put a chair over here somewhere. So I'm only going to make this 2 columns wide. 3 actually. And then I'm going to move this up until I can absorb that last little line. There we go. And take the spacing out on the top of this. And then I do have to make sure that this is lined up perfectly with that one. There we go. So that's where I'm going to sit my text. I have a couple of images I want to put in this page. This first image actually goes across. It's a big wide image, so I'm going to make the page box within the margins. Remember that every image should either stay within the margins or go off the margins. You don't want a lot of stuff kind of hanging in between like that. So I'm going to place my object here. And again, I'm going to go to Object, Fitting, and because I'm okay with cropping, I'm going to say fill that frame that I've made. That actually looks pretty good. And then I got to put my subhead here. So I'm going to put that on the left side. And what I've matched is, you can see on this box, I made this type box 1/2 inch high. You can see it measured there, and you can also see it on the properties panel. And the type box hits the next type box, and that's kind of a good way to keep track of spacing. So this is 1/2 inch, and that hits. And that'll give it the same spacing in both pages. Now the other thing I'm starting to notice is that my copy is closer to these page numbers than I would like. I've noticed it there. This one's not so bad because it's spaced out, but actually it's just on this page. When I go the full width, it's too close. So that's easy to fix. I'm going to go to the Pages panel, open up the parent page. I'm going to select both parent pages by holding the Shift key. So I'm in the parent page, and I'm going to just move these text boxes down. These are my page numbers. I just want to move them down a little bit to get them away from the copy. Now when I go to my spread, I'll see that on this page, much better. So the only other thing I want to do here is I want to put a chair in here. And the chair is not going to fit the column layout as much, but I can still kind of get it to work. If you remember from the Knoll brochure, there is a way to kind of make that happen. So set it here. And what I want to do is I want to line up the right edge. And I got to send this backwards so it goes behind the copy. I want to line up maybe the right edge there, but I want the left side, the top of the chair, to hit the column. So again, I'm going to grab my reference point on the right hand side. That means I'm making it larger from the right hand side out. And then I can just click like this. Much easier way to size things when you know what you want. So I want this to go also to the right. So I'm going to change my reference point to the left side so it sizes until it gets to that margin line. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Do you see how it sits on this left side and on the right side? Overlaps the copy a little bit. Now what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of copy here about that chair, just because it feels like it needs something to kind of anchor it. So it's easy for me to pick up a little bit of copy just by doing this. So I'm going to say write 20 words about the Paramount chair. Perfect. Since I have a specific piece sitting there, I think it'd be kind of cool to have a little bit more information about it. So I'm just going to put a 2-column inset. I'm going to paste that copy, and I'm going to apply the body copy, but I want this to be inset. copy. So I'm going to make a new paragraph style called inset, and I'm going to make that 8-point, much tighter leading. And also I think I'll make this an italic just to give it a different look. And I can try to see if I can make that into one column, but I have a feeling it'll have tons and tons of hyphens. So let's see. Yeah, terrible. So it has to be at least 2 columns. So now that I've got the chair and the inset and everything, I can kind of see how this is all fitting together. Maybe this goes here and I move the chair a little bit like that. Perfect. In fact, maybe the chair sits right in between those two. Awesome. So now I have all 3 of my spreads done. I just want to make sure that I've kind of brought in some of the style of my artist. So my cover, yes. Here I have this circle, which I got from these circles. Everything on the cover I got from that. I need something for these spreads, and the best place to find that is maybe the cover design. I'm going to grab these lines, copy them, and see if I can put them here on their side. Just so that the entire zine kind of has a style that you can see on every spread. So I was thinking maybe this goes on the right side. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that would work for that. And then maybe on this page, I could use these circles that are right here. They've got kind of these little dots. So what I'll do is I'll use this as the basis. I'll grab this circle and this line, copy it, bring it onto my book covers. Just set it over here because I want this circle to be much smaller and black, just like the one that is on the cover. And so I'd end up with something like that. So now I've got this one here. I've got the little circles there. I've got the grids there. Go through and make sure you don't have too many hyphens, that everything is lined up on your margins and columns. And then all you've got to do is design the back page. So what I did is I actually asked ChatGPT to write kind of a conclusion on the back, like a summation or something like that. So you could grab this and make it into your body copy. You don't have any grids here because we took the page numbers off. So what you could do is go to pages. If you wanted to use that grid here for the layout, you could grab this right side, put it there. Now you notice we have our page number, which we don't want here. But if I don't apply the parent page, I don't get the grid. So this is actually easy. I can delete this page number by hitting Shift Command and clicking on the page number. That takes it out of the kind of locked status. So Shift is Control, so it would be Control Command. And click on any item that's on the page that's coming from the parent page and it will unlock it. Now I've got this and I'll just style it. So I'm going to let you do that. Just remember to bring in items from the front page. So I might want to put this red square here and do something with that. Okay, and that's it. So now what I want you to do when you're done is I want you to take one spread and export it and put it on the discussion. So let's say that I pick this spread, which is pages 6 and 7. I would say export as a JPEG, and I will say Zine, page 6 through 7. And I want to export this as a spread. And that's really important because we want to see it that way on the discussion. And it doesn't have to be 300 because we're going to be in a small format digitally. And export that. Put that spread on the discussion so you can kind of see what each other's work is at this point, and maybe put some comments and feedback that's not from me. Now for me, for my feedback, what I want is I want you to export this as a PDF, the whole thing. So not as a JPEG, but as a PDF. I do not want trim marks and bleeds, so make sure those aren't turned on. And also make sure that spreads is checked, all pages, and then export. Okay? When you do that, I will look through it and make sure you're on track and give you some feedback so that next week you can finish it up and publish it.